funny they leave the A out. And the E for that matter. This will be a return trip for me. I was in Elizabeth a few years ago. And I just remember thinking there were enough payphones, and they all worked, and they were all NewTel. And just the quantity of it actually seemed kind of weird. Like there was something shady going on with this conspicuous quantity, but we'll see what it looks like today. So it's about a half-hour train ride. Last time I did this, I actually went to Linden first, and then walked from Linden to Elizabeth, which was a long-ass way, a long-ass walk. My destination in Linden was the cemetery there, where they have a Mercedes-Benz tombstone. It was pretty cool. I don't need to see that again, though. Anyway, let's see what we have here. Well, alrighty then. That one is right where I left it last time. What street is this? That's on Commerce Place at Broad Street. It has the famous "Yes, this payphone works" sticker. And that's clearly a NewTel. Let's see. No. The big lie. The touchtone buttons work, but this happened when I was in Milford. I just dialed that number, the thing said thank you. There, and then it says please dial again. So this phone's busted. Doesn't look too shabby though, the phone itself. It was this downtown area, Broad Street, and the other, whatever the next cross streets are, that had a quantity of these NewTels. No coin deposit needed. So exciting. Talk as long as you like. This one does not have the "Yes, this payphone works" sticker, so maybe that means it actually does work. Nope. No dial tone. I feel like a broken record saying this, but the reason they were so enthusiastic about encouraging you to make all these toll-free calls is that the owner of the payphone would earn about 50 cents for every toll-free call made from their phones. It's called the dial-around compensation fee, because toll-free calls are, of course, not really toll-free. Let's see what else we can find. I actually don't remember this one. The red handset. Honestly though, if these first few don't work, I really doubt any of them will. But the quantity remains, at least. Nothing doing, but there's a phone number for you. No dial tone here. Two in a row here. Well, not exactly next to each other. Another NewTel, looks like it's in decent shape. Although the buttons look like they've been through war. Yeah, this doesn't work. Be sure to hang it up like it matters. And then the other one is this way. Another NewTel. No chance this one works. This is a bring your own handset model. If only that were practical. And here's who you call. Oh, this says Master Payphone Operations. That's interesting. I've been saying NewTel this whole time. I wonder if... because these look exactly like... well, this one, well... yeah, there it says NewTel. So maybe those names are interchangeable. I don't remember seeing Master Payphones before, but... there were countless of these little... mom and pop payphone service provider entities. Well, there's a variation on the famous "This Payphone Works" placement. This one looks a little more weathered than some of the others. NDT. No dial tone. That's one of the weird things about about this hobby, or this thing I do here. My father's initials were NDT, Norman Day Thomas, and he was a fan of this my website. But when I started collecting numbers, one of the little letter combinations you might put next to it was NDT for no dial tone, and my father thought that was kind of cool. And there's a little bit of a Bell Atlantic sign. Let's see if there's anything under it. Nope, no phone. Maybe this means there was one inside. Payphone straight ahead. Camera battery ran out just as I approached. Yeah, I have to believe that Master's Payphone card was from a predecessor, or the design of this is exactly the same as the same card that says NewTel on it. It's a big fat lie. Pretty good size sign if you could pry it off or get somebody to let you take it down. You might get $20 for it on eBay. panorama of this part of Broad Street. Oh, look, there's a payphone across the street. I didn't see that. I'll do the other side of the street on the way back to the train station. There's a little cemetery over here. First Presbyterian Church burial grounds. I'm always happy to explore a new cemetery, but I think I'll take a pass on this one. New to me, that is. I silenced the audio on that last bit because there was some loud music playing. And I'd be happy to include that loud music, but that renders this whole video a copyright infringement, which is a really tiresome, pesky problem that inhabits this YouTube video stuff. Yeah, if there was dial tone, you'd be hearing about it from me, but there's not. The reason I got that video of the ATM was not just because it was such a beautiful looking disaster, but because the ATM is the piece of street furniture that essentially replaced the payphone, not in function but in form. And as a matter of fact, there are a lot of payphones that are on the exact same spot. I mean, a lot of ATMs on the exact same spot where payphones used to be. And in fact, a lot of them are owned by the exact same people that own the payphones. I don't know if that happens to be the case with that previous ATM, but it wouldn't surprise me. You know, I really can't stand seeing this musical gibberish. I mean, I guess in this particular instance, it's in good fun, but how often is it the case where you could just put in a real line of music? You know, you could put in a line of Mozart or Beethoven. Instead, it's this nonsense. But I don't hate this as much as I hate certain other examples of that. The Paradise Tavern, right, an entrance ramp to the Jersey Gardens. I wonder if there's a payphone in Paradise. If there isn't, there certainly used to be. There again, though, you see the ATM sign. In the past, you would almost certainly have seen a phone sign, a public telephone sign, somewhere outside of the place or on the wall, whatever. There's a rosary for you. They have the old parkometers here. It's not unlike the ones that we used to have in New York, but they all got replaced by all-in-one units where one parking meter replaces, as many as like 10 of the old ones. It's cool old meters, though. Get out of the way. Alright, I was here earlier. And somebody was blasting music so loud I couldn't even hear myself think. But amid all that noise, I had a somewhat puzzling encounter with this phone. The good news was that it had a dial tone. But the question is, why did it not have dial tone after I hung up and picked it up again? Okay, now it has dial tone. This is on Smith Street. That's not a bad deal. 50 cents for 10 minutes for an out-of-state call. Hey, it connected. Yeah, that's it. That's where you want to be if you're calling something on a payphone. You want to be at Payphone Radio. So for once, the sign is true. This payphone works. Success, right? I really was thinking that since the first batch didn't work, that none of them were going to, but this one's a little off the beaten path. Maybe that explains why it gets less usage and less wear and tear. I don't know. And maybe somebody watching this can explain why when I called earlier, I called an 800 number earlier, then hung up the phone. That 800 number connected. Then I hung up the phone and picked it up seconds later, and there was no dial tone. I'm thinking it's probably because the 800 call was still connected somehow, or I don't know. Maybe I didn't hang up hard enough. I hung up the call to my Payphone Radio and got dial tone right away, so I'm not gonna worry about it. But here's a pro tip. You dial that number if you want to get the number that you're calling from.
Thank you for calling MCI. Our system indicates you are calling from 908-355-0114. If this is the number you are calling about,
somehow this just doesn't look right. MRI with Flué synthetic. So they have the park-o-meters a little further up this avenue, but they have the more modern machines here. I think I saw these in Hoboken too. One of my favorite things about these newer meters is that they have the time of day on them. This one even has the date. The ones in New York only show the time. And this keyboard looks like fun. I wonder what the buttons do. This is the blackened payphone of death. This flag is in the way. Nothing doing. So I'm back on Broad Street now, where I'll begin my return back to the train station. Ow, that was loud. So I walked from the train station. I took Broad Street to Elizabeth Avenue, and then Elizabeth Avenue past Smith Street. I don't remember exactly where I turned back, but maybe a few blocks past Smith, and then Elizabeth back to Broad. That's really all I had in mind for this. Should be a few more left on this side of Broad Street, though. No dial tone, but there is a slight humming noise. Yeah, she said to deposit 50 cents, but with no dial tone, I don't want to risk my hard-earned coins. It's funny, I thought that was a can of beans. So it's been all NewTel all the time, and as I'm still surprised to admit, I've never noticed that this Master Payphone Operations name was on these things, but that is some pretty tiny print. And the good news is one of those phones actually worked. So there is dial tone in the town of Elizabeth. This is an unusual looking one. I don't see these. I don't remember ever seeing one like this. The coin return comes into this little space. I guess that saves you one moving part. Yeah, that's a somewhat unusual model with the rounded frames and the placard spots. But of course it has the big lie, which isn't a complete lie, at least not today. I think I might have skipped one. Back on Broad Street, I think I might have skipped one because I thought I was recording when I was not. But it's no big deal. You get the idea, though. Elizabeth has a pretty good quantity of phones. Only one of them works, as far as I can tell. And I'm going to take a pass on this one with the people sitting right by it. But the reason I wanted to come back here was after, I think it's been about 4 years, was, as I think I said earlier in this, the last time I was here, I was surprised not just at the quantity, but at the fact that pretty much every single one of them worked. And it was enough to make me think that there was something shiesty going on here. You know, maybe somebody set these things up to robo-dial toll-free numbers. I swear I thought that said penile church. Nice, there's a piano store here. A Pearl River Grand. That's a brand I do not know. There are a lot of brands I don't know. I've actually been piano shopping lately. I'm in the market for a new digital, probably a Roland, but it's a toss-up between Roland and Yamaha. I just got to get my hands on the both of them. Okay, I can get a close-up of this one now since those people are not sitting at this table anymore. More interested to see if it has dial tone actually than to document yet another NewTel phone. Nope, no dial tone. And there are two in a row up here that I took a pass on because there was a crowd of people standing around waiting for this bus that has since arrived. I got this one before. Two in a row at the bus stop. And there's another one of those some unusual models with the coin return bucket. It's opposed to the slot or chamber.
Right in the seat. Right in the seat. Right in the seat. Oh, no, that should make you eat, man.
Oh, look at this, they have another style of parking meter. Although it looks like the same, it's probably the same brand, just a different kind of keyboard. They're just all over the place with the parking meters in this town. That's kind of crazy. I see some crazy spelling errors sometimes. Gratting crad. What the hell? Something got lost in translation. Anyway, that's it for Elizabeth, I think. Oh, gross, I just stepped on a piece of gum. I think this is one of the ones I started with. They all kind of look the same after a while, you know. I'll just leave it at this one on Broad Street.
Newark Airport Station, Newark International Airport. Take your stand on the ground for your personal belongings. Be sure to take your PPWR tickets with you access to monorail service. Newark Airport.